Knapp versus State concerns a homicide, a claim of self-defense, and a question of relevance of evidence. John Knapp killed the marshal of Hagerstown. At trial, he argued that he'd acted in self-defense out of fear of the marshal. To explain his fear, Knapp testified that he'd heard that the marshal had clubbed an old man when he'd arrested him, resulting in the old man's death shortly thereafter. On cross-examination, Knapp stated that he'd heard this story from, quote, some people around Hagerstown, unquote, but he couldn't remember who exactly. On rebuttal, the state called a physician who testified that the old man allegedly killed by the marshal had in fact died of senility and alcoholism and that there were no bruises on him. Knapp objected to this testimony on the grounds that the question was whether or not he'd heard the story about the old man's death, not whether or not that story was true. The trial court convicted Knapp of first-degree murder. Knapp appealed to the Indiana Supreme Court. He argued that it was error for the court to admit the physician's testimony.